Welcome once again to a park showcase. This is my own made park called the Dinosaur Kingdom. I don't know if that name's already in use, probably it is, but it's what I named this park. And that's because it was inspired by one of my favorite dinosaur documentaries called Dinosaur Revolution. And the whole thing is watchable on YouTube, and it's just amazing. But yeah, I'll be explaining what scenes I or what segments I took which place from, and also there's a bit of original stuff from it. All right, but first, when you enter the park, there's this arrival point, and a lot of field, and there's firstly this monorail station, which goes around here, here, and here. Then there's a bathroom right in the middle of the glade. There's a hyperloop station and also a viewing platform where you get this really scenic look at the park. So over there we have the Cryolophosaurus enclosure. Uh, Over there the Uteranus enclosure, visitor center right there. Uh, Innovation center and the main street over there. Of course, inspired by Jurassic Park. No, Jurassic World, I mean. And there's the aviary, Triassic and Permian enclosures. In the tiny place with the tinies. And then we have the Cretaceous North America. And over there, a bit further away, is Cretaceous Asia. And bunch of other stuff. So, and there's also a road that goes down here. So let's take a look at the Cryolophosaurus enclosure. But first I need to add something. I like this educational science there. So, Cryolophosaurus, this is the view you can get. There's invisible fences. And they're over there, look at that. And, well, this area is inspired by the show. There's a scene with two Cryolophosaurus males fighting for a female. Where, yeah, and then there's, well, it's a lot tinier, but there's like a cave with eggs in it, a lot tinier than this, but and then the uh, this is inspired by the male one that loses the battle and like dies. Then this is the one that wins and then breaks the eggs. And yeah, it's I like how this looks. Then there's a dome viewing gallery here, so that's pretty good. And then there's a whole shallow river extending from here to there, and mountains, of course, scenic. And here are some response facilities, and yeah, let's go down Main Street. There's a road from one emergency facility to our hatchery and paleo medical facility. Sorry, yeah, Main Street. Here it is. Hyperloop connection and a bathroom, of course. Triceratops skeleton, because why not? And this of a Ankylosaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex fighting. But yeah, the innovation center is like very modern, which I tried like modernized style, you know. Yeah. And sure, let's go here, tiny place. Here we have the baby Majungosauruses. They are here because you know the adults can eat the children in the game, so that's why they're like in their own little enclosure here. Then here is the Oviraptor enclosure, which was inspired by Prehistoric Planet, and Prehistoric Planet has also been big a big inspiration for this, yeah. Then we have the Homocephaly, which, well, in one of the episodes, there is a baby Pachycephalosaurus, and I wanted to somehow like show that, but I just chose Homocephaly because they're pretty cool, and I like having a lot of dinosaurs, different ones. And then here we have the Morus Intrepidus, which I use these because they're like baby T-Rex, and yeah, there's baby T-Rex in the show, of course. It's not really a new show. It's like 2012, 2011, around that time. But yeah. And here is Compsognathus, though they don't appear in the show at all. But yeah, let me give you a better view of all this. Homocephaly, Morus Intrepidus, Compsognathus. Alright, and here is a Pachycephalosaurus juvenile. Then there's a monorail going here. Viewing galleries, these cool ones. Sorry. Ah. But yeah, here is the Permian, where we of course have the Dimetrodon, which possibly lived in like very like swamplands or jungles. And this is not inspired by anything, though if we had Inostrancevia... Oh, and right, there's a volcano because, in the Permian period was ended by the huge volcanic activity. And that's how the Great Dying happened. And here we have the Triassic. Here we first have the Lystrosaurus, since we don't have Dicynodonts. But first episode of Dinosaur Revolution, there's Dicynodonts and also a Sarcosuchus. So Lystrosaurus is the best one, and they have caves, and they can go hang out. Can they fit in the cave? They should be able to fit in the cave. Yeah, they fit. Yeah, they fit. And here we have Coelophysis, but there is actually Eoraptors in the show. And then there's this whole scene where the Sarcosuchus chases two Eoraptors under this tree, and then there's a mammal, or a proto-mammal, ancestor of mammals. I'm not really sure what it is. It looks like a badger. But yeah. There is the entire And I've connected these because Lystrosaurus also lived in the Permian. That's oh, and here's our balloon tour, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, this road doesn't go anywhere, even though it should. Let's go over here, where we first have this wonderful statue that I took off the scenery items. Here we have viewing gallery into the Majangasaurus enclosure, there's the scene where two very like hatchling Majangasaurs get eaten by a Beelzebufo, and it's like this type of swampland though. Yeah. There's also like a bird in the scene, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I just can't explain how amazing this is. Here is the Brachiosaurus enclosure with an Allosaurus, inspired by the popular Allosaurus from the show Broken Jaw. And this whole area is inspired by the watering hole. And we have this entire, we have a security camera and a tree here. But yeah, this is the tree where the Allosaurus rests and later the Torvosaurus. But yeah, watering hole. Because I chose Brachiosaurus because there's none of the other dinosaur that appears in the episode. And here, since we didn't have Gigantoraptor in the game, which appears in the first episode where they do like a whole mating dance, I chose Ornithomimus because it's similarly like colored, like feathered, and yeah. And then there's these sand little things that they use as stage, and then there's like mammals under it. And this one is inspired by the show, but since we don't have, I don't remember what the pterosaur was, but it was like the small one that fished. But right, there's this whole scene where it tries to teach its juveniles how to fly, but then they like die, except one. And yeah, these have like this cliffside and water in the front. But yeah, there's also a bunch of bones gathered around this swamp. And of course another Majangasaurus corpse, though, well, Indominus Rex skeleton, but it's better if it's like Majangasaurus corpse because, you know, they're cannibalistic. And of course a hotel. And this is our basal theropod land, where we first have the Dilophosaurus, which was of course way bigger than this in real life, and it of course didn't spit acid at all. But yeah, they live in this small swampy land with some jungle behind them. And then we have this entire like small place with, well, not small, but there's a large hotel, this activity center, an emergency shelter, and some restrooms, medium amenities. Yeah. There we have this this where there's a Allosaurus behind them. Alright, wait, I forgot. Yeah, over here we have the Herrerasaurus. We have one male and two females. And they are also basal theropods. Right, and here. Up here we have this relaxing walk. Oh, and also there's baryonyx swimming around you. But don't worry, the invisible fences work. And they're like swimming around and stuff. It's like a small little relaxing walk. And over here there's a Hyperloop connection and a viewing platform where you can see the Triassic and Permian enclosures and also far off into the distance. Also you can see into the waters. Yeah, this is what it looks like from up. It's on this cliff side. Or cliff, yeah. Over here there's like forest. Just forest because, well, I ran out of complexity. But yeah, oh, here is a singular Dinokairos. Don't worry, this isn't the only Dinokairos enclosure. Here we have the Archaeornithomimus, because I wanted to have more Ornithomimidae in here. So view. Yeah, there's two viewing platforms that show into the middle. Yeah. I really wasn't inspired by anything, I just made it. And this leads to another place inspired by Dinosaur Revolution, where it's a scene where Mosasaurus protects her baby from a bunch of sharks. And I enjoyed it. Yeah, Troodons fighting. Yeah, we have Troodons, cool. Let's go over here. These are Cretaceous Cruise, where we have most of our Dinokairuses. Almost all of them. One is outside of the enclosure. And this is of course inspired by Prehistoric Planet. Because I also added the tree that the Dinokairos scratches itself on. yeah, you know, stuff. Cypress swamp back here, and yeah, pretty cool. And here we have our another arrival point and paramedical facility and hatchery in one. And it's also where we can find our Uranus enclosure inspired by prehistoric planet, because there's that one scene with the Nucosaurus, one segment with it, or many segments, I don't really remember. So I decided to put them in a like permanent snowy enclosure. That's why it's like an aviary, because you know they can heat it up. Heat it up. Oh, and also there's this little river and waterfall here. I like this one. Brings me joy. Alright, visitor center. Let me show a closer look. I took this off the workshop because I'm nowhere near as talented as the people on there. Maybe a bit more talented than some, but I'm not gonna say names. Just know the good ones are good, you know. Oh, no, name it. Well, I could probably show you. This is just so beautiful. Let's dive in deeper into here, because there is these coral reefs and some debris, you know, stuff to, you know, make it look better. And well, that's pretty much all for here. Let's now go into our my two biggest so-called experiences, if I would say. First up, we have this one. I'm gonna manually control it. This is Cretaceous America. And we have our Pachycephalosauruses and Ankylosauruses, both inspired by dinosaurs. This whole place is inspired by Dinosaur Revolution. And yeah, they have that little beach area, which I'll show you after I'm done. Then in another area, we have Triceratops, which appears in a segment where it's hunted by two T-Rex. And there's multiple of them though, you know. Next, well, let's go over this. We can take a small tour of the Tyrannosaurus enclosure, which otherwise you would just like go into a pit and see them from a distance, but oh, and there's that little statue of a asteroid like coming to hit the Earth. You know, since this is late Cretaceous America. This is America, goddamn. didn't see them at all. Well, anyway, here is the Troodons. In the final segment, there's a Troodon as the last dinosaur. And yeah, it's kind of depressing, really. But yeah, there's 4 Troodons here, all colored to match the show. Males being blue and stuff, females being... Oh, were they both blue? Oh, here we can see Tyrannosaurus. Yeah, they're a lot more cooler than this, but I really couldn't make it any better. There's 2 of them. Another one is green. The other one, as you saw, was gray. Then in the Troodon enclosure we have like a crater with the rock, though there shouldn't be the rock, but you gotta make it simple, you know. But yeah, it's basically a wasteland. Yeah, here's a closer look at the Ankylosaurus and Pachycephalosaurus area, or a better look. Though there's not this Ankylosaurus in the show, I couldn't think of anything else. Maybe Crichtonsaurus. I should have used Crichtonsaurus. And from here we go here. Next, this is the Utahraptor enclosure, inspired by Dinosaur Revolution, where they hunt some, I don't remember what was it. I think it was some kind of sauropod in a desert. Like, well, not really a desert, more of, well, you know, this. And in the show they look way different. And here you have a T-Rex statue that you can drive under. A huge T-Rex statue. Huge fan. Alright, here's the second street. We have Nanotyrannus statue. And a large hotel. Alright, time for our last part. Oh, right, let me show you. Here, you can find a secret road. Down where it says, in the misty mountainside. He's got shiny diamonds that he's got to protect. Yeah, it goes to this little beach where you walk around, walk around, walk around, walk around. And it steers off into this other area where you can see a Spinosaurus, well, or Baryonyx, whatever, really. But let's say Spinosaurus sign. This is I like how this looks. But yeah, final one. This is China and Mongolia. Well, yeah. Let's look at our Therizinosaurus enclosure. Here we have a Therizinosaurus, which is inspired by both Dinosaur Revolution and Prehistoric Planet. Because here we have bees' nests, which of course appear in the scene with the baby Therizinosaurus. Here we have them. And we also have this burned down section, which is from an unused segment from Dinosaur Revolution, where there's a forest fire and then there's a Therizinosaurus like burning. But yeah, this is pretty plainly colored. Yeah. And here we have from Dinosaur Revolution a Guanglong area where two Guanglong chase like a mammal, and then the mammal jumps in. It's like a badger. Then the mammal jumps into a log, which of course this will be hollow. And yeah, then there's another section where they chase like a flying squirrel that lands on top of a Mamenchisaurus, and the Guanglong hop on it too, and that's when the Mamenchisaurus like gets up and walks out of the water. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Guanglong. There's a red and a bit of bluer one. Eat it. You can see them pretty clearly here. This has like a really boxy head, look at this. And that's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. But yeah, Mamenchisaurus, only female. Oh well, there's one male. I forgot I put one male here. Then from Prehistoric Planet, we have our Chinzosaurus enclosure, where it's an autumn forest with some patches of come out of the goddamn forest, dude. Here we have it. And here we have Synthosaurus, which is not inspired by anything. But here's a bigger look at the enclosures. Closer look at the juvenile. Synthosaurus. And that's pretty much the entire thing, yeah. Yep. Thank you for watching. Cool looking hatchery. Goodbye.